Hey everybody, this is Colton with POSGuys.com, and today we're going to be taking a look at the MC9400 from Zebra Technologies. Now this is the newest mobile computer in Zebra's lineup and is a replacement to their hugely popular MC9300, so this thing has some big shoes to fill for sure. It is part of their ultra rugged line, which means it is made for more of a manufacturing and warehouse type setting. So places where you're going to need a really rugged device that can take a beating while still also being able to run some more of those data intensive type programs. There's also some units that are built to be freezer and non-incendive rated, which means you'll be able to use this in more of a cold storage or refinery type setting. The MC9400 improves in quite a few places compared to the MC9300, and we'll get into most of those later in the video. The big thing that everyone's sort of been wondering about this model is accessory support. And in that way, the MC9400 is going to be compatible with all accessories that the MC9300 had. So we're talking batteries, charging docks like this guy, cradles, kind of the whole 9 yards there. And that is a massive plus for operators who are considering a fleet upgrade but didn't want to drop a fortune in new accessories. And the keypads as well on these are also going to be interchangeable. They're all exactly the same. They use the same ones as the MC9300, so you won't have to worry about employees getting tripped up over a new keypad format. And that's a big plus. Big kudos to Zebra for doing that. There's been a few flagship upgrades over the last couple years from other manufacturers, and you can't necessarily count on the accessories always carrying over. So big perks to Zebra for doing that. Besides that, just about every other aspect of this device has been upgraded. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is we're going to zoom on in. We're going to kind of take a look at the exterior, the interior, kind of compare the specs, and see what's changed and what's stayed the same. All right, so let's start off with talking about what's under the hood, because I think that that's where Zebra's made the biggest jumps on this device. This unit is powered by a Qualcomm 4490 octa-core processor, clocking in at about 2.4 gigahertz, and is going to have 6 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of flash memory. Comparing to the Zebra MC9300's Qualcomm 660 processor, which clocks in at about 2.2 gigahertz, this new upgrade is going to have about 2.5 times more processing power and about 50% more RAM on the base model. So definitely a big step up there. What is really wild to me on this is that the MC9400 supports up to about 8 times as much expandable storage as the MC3300. So where the MC33 maxed out at 258 gigabytes on a micro SD card, the MC9400 can go all the way up to 2 terabytes, which is just like insane. I don't even know what you would use that much storage for. I spent some time doing some research online and sort of looking at all of our competitor catalogs, and I think the closest other unit that I can find is about 512 gigabytes. So just from an internal specs perspective, this is a really good unit if if future proofing is really important to you. You want to buy one unit and not have to worry about it for a while. I don't see any world where the specs on this thing are really going to get outdated in the near future. And to double down on that, the MC9400 is going to ship with Android 13, and Zebra's committed to supporting updates all the way up to Android 17, while the MC3300 shipped with Android 11 and only went up to 14. And looking at other competitive models on the market, kind of in the same ruggedability class, I think the highest that I could find was Android 14. So that's just another area where this is really going above and beyond. And then finally, from a connectivity perspective, the MC9400 features 5G, which is a first for Zebra gun grip type devices, as well as Wi-Fi 6E, which is going to offer about 4 times the bandwidth and a 75% lower latency than Wi-Fi 5. Powering this device is a hot swappable 700 milliamp battery that can be replaced without powering down the device. So you kind of just click these 2 buttons there, and then you pinch in these batteries right here, or these 2 little tabs at the end here, and then you could pull out another battery, click this in, and then I put it in upside down. There you go. I'm fumbling with it. and you should be able to clock that in, and yeah, it's still good and ready to go. So it's powered by a 700 milliamp battery, which is the same as the MC3300. What the MC9400 offers over that is an optional Bluetooth low energy enabled battery that can be used in conjunction with their Zebra device tracking software. That's a separate license that you need to purchase. But essentially what that will do is it'll help you locate or lost any misplaced items. Over the last year, I would say, asset loss and shrink has been a big talking point for a lot of our customers. So, you know, some people definitely appreciate the extra peace of mind. And, you know, if you could save even 1 or 2 of these units from being misplaced or stolen because of that, you know, you're definitely getting a good ROI on it. These things aren't cheap, you know, that's definitely the one thing is you're paying for what you get. So anything you can do to make sure that these stay where they need to be is, you know, going to be a good plus. Finally, to sort of wrap up the internal specs on this thing, there's also some camera-enabled SKUs that come with a 16 megapixel rear-facing camera, which is on the front here, or yeah, kind of on the end here, as well as an 8 megapixel front-facing camera. The camera also has something called the high dynamic range, which for those who aren't super camera tech or camera technology savvy, just basically means that it's going to be able to provide better detail in really bright and very dark areas of the photos. So, you know, the camera on this, actually kind of comparing it, is actually pretty comparable to some consumer phone devices, which you can't always take for granted with these higher end mobile computers. They're kind of known for having crummy cameras, and for the most part, that doesn't tend to be a really big deal in warehouse type settings. But, you know, we've definitely heard from some of our customers complaining in the past that, you know, image quality isn't always great, and especially in a world where, you know, people are relying on photos more for, you know, proof of delivery and proof of performance. Just having a nicer camera is a big perk. I actually took the time to take a photo with the MC9400 and compare that to an older Zebra device, my phone here, which I have a Google Pixel, which are kind of known for having really nice cameras, and then a competitor brand that's somewhat comparable to this, and kind of compared those photos, and it actually held its own pretty well. But with all the internal stuff out of the way, let's take a look at the exterior here. So the big thing, the big change, I guess, on the exterior is that they changed the accent colors from more of a yellow to this kind of like neon green. So you're going to see that here on the button, as well as on the exterior here on some of this button. And then there's like a little green stripe that wraps around this display. This display is 4.3 inches. It is made from a Corning glass, Gorilla Glass rather, which is going to give it a little bit extra impact resistance. The freezer model on this also includes a heated touch panel, so that, you know, under really heavy condensing conditions, this doesn't get all foggy. The display is nice, you know, the technology's pretty much maxed out at this point, so, and it's kind of hard to show on a camera, but it's a pretty nice display, pretty bright. So, you know, even in like really bright conditions, it's still pretty visible. So that's about all there is to know on the exterior appearance. Most of what I wanted to talk about exterior-wise concerns the durability on the device, because that's like half the reason to get something like this anyway. So the MC9400 is going to ship with either an IP65 or an IP68 rating. So basically what that means is that either version of that is going to be 100% dust proof. So, you know, sawmills and things like that are going to be A-okay. They can also, either model can also handle the force of jetting water hitting at it from any direction. And on the IP68 model in particular, it can also be fully submerged in water up to 1 meter. So if you just have a bunch of standing water in your warehouse for any reason, you know, maybe your employees want to throw it in the fountain because they're not happy with you, I don't know, it can handle it just fine. Drop spec wise, you're going to be able to get about 6,000 tumbles to concrete from about 3.3 feet high before this thing might break. That's the same as the MC9300, where the MC9400 does improve over the previous model, is the maximum drop. So This unit is going to be rated for 12 feet drops to concrete, while the MC9300 was only rated for 10. So, your employees can get a couple extra steps on the ladder before throwing the scanner on the ground without it breaking. But hopefully, though, your employees won't need to climb that high, because if we turn our attention to the scan engine on the front here, they've made some upgrades. So on the base model, the scan engine is the same. It's going to be the SE4770. It's your standard range 2D scan engine, and I'll throw all the decode range specs on the screen now because it's mouthful to have to go through them all, just so you have a reference there. But where it made a big upgrade is the far range engine, and this unit is going to use an SE58 imager. That's going to get you about 20% longer read ranges than the extended range imager on the MC9300. So that means that practically speaking, on a 100 mil code 39 barcode, you're going to be able to scan that up to about 105 feet away. And on a 55 mil QR code, you're going to be able to scan out to about 24 feet away. The SE58 also features a visible green laser aimer with a wide pattern that is up to 7 times more visible than the red aimer, and is going to offer visibility up to about 10 feet away in direct sunlight. I only have the standard range imager here, so I can't really put that to the test. But when I get my hands on a unit that does have the new engine, I'll definitely make sure to make a video, and I'll link that in one of these quarters. But with that is going to sum up most of the big points that I wanted to make on this device. Overall, I think that Zebra's really stepped it up on this one. Sometimes manufacturers have a habit of releasing new products just to put a new number on it, and while they're at it, changing the accessories so they have to buy all new accessories. But that is not the case this time around. Zebra definitely took the time to pack in the upgrades on this one. And the backwards accessory support is a huge perk, and it's going to be really, really nice for people that are looking to make an upgrade without having to drop, tens of thousands of dollars on a whole new fleet of product. So kudos again to Zebra for that. If you have any questions on this device, please feel free to give us a call, an email. All of that is going to be on the screen here in a second. This is definitely a pretty in-depth device. So, there's a lot that can be done here, and there's lots of SKUs. So we are more than happy to help you sort through and kind of find the model that's going to be best for you. So with that, all our info is on the screen again. But thank you so much. We really appreciate your time, and look forward to helping you out and seeing you next time. Take care.